Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blackshirt Breakdown. My name is Steve Marik. I'm a staff writer inside Nebraska, and he is the Jay Foreman, our NFL veteran and former Nebraska Blackshirt. Jay, we are back once again. And unfortunately for Husker fans, like the last time we were doing one of these things to break down a game, it is another loss. The Huskers go to Boulder. They cannot get the job done. They lose 36-14 in a hostile environment. I mean, Jay, you were there. We saw each other on sidelines. It was loud. It was raucous. The Colorado student section was doing their thing with the "FU Nebraska" chants.
Yeah.
It kind of did it feel like old days, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely intense. And that's just part of Colorado, Nebraska. And, they were riding high off of their first week victory. And, that's just part of what you expect, regardless. Look, all the records are out the door when you play Colorado, Nebraska. So it just so happened they have a lot of national attention. Rightfully so. They're a pretty good team. And their home field, finally have it back. You got to think they didn't really have any attendance like that for quite some time. So I'm sure, look, they're excited about it, and their student section definitely was making up for lost time. Let's say that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fun atmosphere to witness, but again, like we said, not a good game for Husker fans who made the trip. Just kind of, I don't know what you want to say because it's the turnovers, right, Jay? Four turnovers again. Colorado scores 16 points off of those turnovers. Jeff Sims throws another interception. He's got four on the season. We all know about the snap issues. He dropped a couple of them. Another snap bounced off Luke Lindenmeyer, the tight end,
Right.
on a motion on a run play. So, Jay, let's just get this out. We're not going to break down any of the snap issues here, but Jay, a former player, you watching Jeff Sims in the gun, kind of just have those snap issues with the loud environment around him. Just what were your initial reactions with Jeff Sims and the snap issues, first of all?
I mean, it's just stuff that can't happen. The crowd noise don't stop you from catching the ball. I mean, part of playing quarterback, you got to be a good ball handler, and so that's catching the ball, delivering the ball on time, being strong with the ball, and making decisive decisions. Even when you get the ball, then you have the exchange issue on the quarterback running back, the last kind of fumble. I don't necessarily know if it's on him. I think it was Fleeks that was supposed to crack on the nose, pretty much chose not to, messed up the mesh of the play. Those are just things that, it can't happen. I mean, Jeff Sims has played too much football. The expectations are too high. So, he just needs to, get it going.
So Nebraska, this is kind of an interesting stat. Nebraska is last in the nation in turnover margin. They're at -6 right now.
Right.
However, if you look at Tony White's defense, they have 11 sacks, tied for
Yeah.
first with Tennessee in the nation.
Right.
Jay, what did you see from Tony White's defense? I thought they held their own. They did their part. They played well
Right.
enough to win the game. Just what did you see from Tony White's defense?
I wouldn't say they played well enough to win the game, but I think they played winning football for a majority of the game. I think they got worn out a little bit. And, look, going into the game, me and you talked that, look, Colorado's going to score points. I think
Yeah.
obviously they're a different animal than Minnesota. So, going in there, obviously you want to pitch a shutout and preaching a shutout, but understand they got next level guys. And so they're going to be able to make some plays. They got everybody at their skill position is a all-American or all-conference and NFL talent. And you got a quarterback that's extremely accurate. You got Travis Hunter and the plethora of receivers that are really good. And you got Dylan Edwards that can do it all. Then you got Witherspoon. So they have a 1-2 punch everywhere. And then in the receivers, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And you saw their tight end be a factor as well. So I felt like they played winning football. Probably a little disappointed in a couple situational things, but overall, I think Tony White's defense has been a pleasant surprise. I think they probably exceeded my expectations because they look like a well-oiled gel and unit. When you have guys like Makai Gabar getting in there in
Yeah.
back-to-back weeks, playing a different position that he originally was playing, looks like a totally different player, plays well, makes plays, right? Big open field tackle. Javen Wright, Bullock, Nick Heinrich looked great coming back off of having a little tweak. Luke Reimer looks good. Multiple defensive linemen. You got to think Van Poppel got in there.
Yep.
Didn't look out of place. Blaze Gunnerson, obviously Cam Linhart. So yeah, I mean his unit has been the bell cow, and they got to continue to do it if they want to continue to try to get their first win let alone try to have a winning season.
Absolutely. So let's get into the plays now. Now I have 6 here. And I want to kind of start off with a couple of strong runs, I think,
Right.
strong blocking plays here that I think, when you look at Nebraska's offense, they have potential to be, I think, a strong running team. And I think they showed, what we didn't see against Minnesota, which was kind of like a strong handoff run game, traditional run
Right.
game with the running backs. But I thought Marcus Satterfield and the offense really tried to get that part of the game straightened out, and they had some good runs. I mean, you see flashes of Nebraska's run game being strong with this offensive line. So Jay, this first play, let's take it away. So this is a 9-yard run from Gabe Ervin
Right.
on a 2nd and 4 from Nebraska's own 13-yard line.
Yeah, look, this game is 0-0 here, and you're hanging right with them, right? And I think up to this point, you say Nebraska's definitely won the game from a physicality standpoint. And they came out and reestablished the line of scrimmage. I mean, this is a point of emphasis, and I felt like Satterfield had called a good game and they blocked a good game. Look at that, hat on hat. Gabe Ervin said, testing, Travis Hunter out, getting the edge, making the edge soft. Good block here. But I think it's Borkature. The offensive line looked like they're in good communication. Everybody's going. Ben Scott's setting the table. Everybody's executing, and they're all moving as one unit. Look at that right there. Look at the feet, the steps. You're on, guys. Right, good recovery there by Ethan Piper to kind of take the guy where he wants to go. Good double team. Borkature goes solo, right? You would like Turner Corcoran to stay up a little bit there. Gabe Ervin makes the guy miss after a good block, and then he gets 4 or 5 more yards right there. And it's a good 9-yard run, right? You can't ask for much more. I mean, it's a good play call, good execution. It's not perfect, but it's a winning play. Good run by Gabe here, making the first guy miss and, trying to punish the outside guy as well. And then this is what you got here. One of the things about Satterfield I like in the first half is 12 personnel, different schemes. Look at this right here. This is what I like right here, right? A kind of like a inside zone, but it's almost like, you're following number 16 right here, right? So it's an inside zone looking, but from a linebacker standpoint, we know it's going wide right here, right? Good action right there. Hat on hat. Gabe sees it. Keeps it real tight off of Bryce Benhart's butt. Makes the first guy miss. Good action right here. Marcus Washington, great job right there by not getting the blindside hit, right? And then you got Gabe cutting it right up there and then gashing him again. These are plays that when you're making the corners make these type of plays, they're blocked up really, really well. Great job, everybody right here. This is what you want, right? Gabe Ervin, look, defensive linemen or linebackers know this is run. And you know it's run, you're playing. Good. Look at that wash right there by the offensive line if you could walk or run that back. You talk about getting movement here. Watch it from Bryce Benhart. I think that's Latovsky, right? Look at Ethan Piper's getting a little punch right there, washing him down. Good angle for the H-back to come. Good right there, right? You'd like his hips a little bit more inside, right? So Gabe can climb up right there on that defender. But then this is a great job by Marcus Washington right here. A little box out play, right? Right? He could have easily ear hold him, but what? Smart play. All we got to do is get the guy blocked and making number 3 make a tackle.
So Jay, when Marcus Satterfield, I think he showed this a lot in the run game. He uses motion. So just for the fans at home wondering why he likes to use the motion, just explain why Marcus Satterfield is sending these receivers in motion before the snap.
Well, one, you're going to see it with their man or zone, right? That's going to help with any pre-snap or post-snap read. But this is kind of like a in motion right there, right? So it's trying to get something across from a linebacker standpoint to confuse me and mess up my, read right here, right? It's cross the face, get a false step, right? So if I'm judging their inside linebackers, right, he didn't see anything coming back there, right? So whoever that inside linebacker needs to be on the outside of Benhart and he gets closed off. That's what you want, right? One false step, good double team and wash down, and Bryce Benhart gets on 51, who you'd like to be able to fall back and make that play. So fall back is initially it goes right. You'd like him to be able to counter back, right? Both of the linebackers need to be lock and step. Both of them are over there way too far, too late, bad read, and that's what the motion does, and that's what the cross block kick out does, right? So it's a good job, good execution on Nebraska standpoint. Hat on hat. Everybody trying to finish their block and create a new line of scrimmage, and they certainly did that.
And we mentioned Henry Latowski at right guard. He rotated the entire game with Nerdin Nueli, the starter.
Right.
Kind of an uneven. On the rewatch, I thought it was kind of an uneven performance from Henry Latowski. But again, I think
Yeah.
they kind of wanted to see what he could do and kind of just see what they had with Henry Latowski. And I think they have a capable backup right there at especially at a guard. So
yeah, he can give you a little bit of a blow. I mean, he has some quickness issues, and those showed up later in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's I wanted to add this because I had a lot of fun, Jay, watching Tony White's call of the defense and just the different fronts that he used. I thought they really impacted Colorado's offense, especially with the offensive line, about like kind of judging who's coming and who's dropping, things like that. 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7-man fronts at times in this game. I thought it was really cool. And on this one, third and goal from the 1, Colorado decides to use their skill talent and just kind of throw this one in. They come out in 12 personnel here. But, I think we talked about this earlier in the day. It was a nice ET stunt, if I'm correct on that. And then at the second level, these two linebackers, Nick Hendrick goes first through the A gap, and then Luke Reimer loops around the C gap and kind of just, raises hell basically. And they get the job done and force a field goal instead of giving up a touchdown.
Right. This is time to look. It's 2 minutes left. You're down 13 points. Your back's into the wall. You got to get a stop here on third down to keep you in the game, right? Little cross buck action right here. Good job by Luke Reimer coming out of his blitz and containing him, right? He's a secondary blitzer, comes tight off of there. He ends up being the contain. But then also you have the ET stunt, and they're defeating these offensive linemen as well. So you can be the secondary rusher. So it's a good job by Nick Heinrich being on his track, right? Understanding that you got to blow a hole in that middle. Tight by Nash coming off the side. Luke coming, right? Nash with a little mini hump move, right? As much as he can. And then there, I think it's Riley Van Poppel right there coming in there with Luke Reimer. Actually Van Poppel probably getting his first sack. So
yeah,
it's good execution. Good with Tony White. And as far as, the one thing that people need to understand about Tony White, he must be a really good, I don't know, he is a very good communicator and teacher. Number one, have all these different personnel units, but then also different fronts and stuff like that to go in there and teach multiple kids how to play different roles, and they're all picking it up. And look, even on the back end, right? They're passing it off. Good job. That's the same route that they were able to catch TCU in a little bit out there in the field to Dylan Edwards, where you could overflood the zone right there, right? And get one-on-one with a corner or linebacker. And actually was what TCU ran against Colorado last week, where Hunter made the really good play. So Nebraska has it locked up right there, passed it up. Everybody's in the zone. It's a good job by Luke Reimer doing his job, right? Not letting the quarterback get outside. Excellent job there by Riley Van Poppel, right? Freshman coming in the game, getting his first sack.
Summer enrollee, true freshman, coming in and making an impact. And today, which we were filming this on Monday evening, we got done talking with Matt Rule. He basically said Riley Van Poppel is not going to redshirt. They're going to be playing him all season long. So that's kind of fun for the future of Nebraska's defensive front. But Jay, one thing I wanted to ask you on this, I was kind of wondering about this when I was clipping this up, was, so let's look at Ty Robinson. He looks to be like on the outside shoulder, maybe head up on the right tackle here. So in this specific blitz package, or whatever you want to call it, is he taught to kind of go at the inside shoulder of the right tackle here to kind of just get his attention? So that will open up Luke coming around. Is that like what he's taught to do, is just the inside shoulder of that right tackle?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's probably head up the inside technique, right? You're pretty right, going right down the middle of him, right? He wants to own that B gap, right? He wants to get the contention of 78. Good job by Luke Reimer, not getting confused by taking the cheese of Dylan Edwards coming out tight, right? Upfield shoulder there by Luke Reimer, right? And then here comes Riley Van Poppel, right? Where he's finding a way, right? And Luke pulls him up, as we used to like to say, and then you got him cornered in there and you force him into taking a sack. So they can save a field goal, but it's a win for the defense, right? You get down in the red zone, you don't want to give up touchdowns. Your back's against the wall at that time to kind of keep you into the game from a number, or from a deficit standpoint. And it's a good job by the defense, and it's also let you know how much they believe in Tony White. They didn't just cash it in and give away 7 points, right? We're still being aggressive but calculated. I mean, so you got to give the players and the coaches, the defensive coaches, credit. They stayed in this game as long as they can. You're at the end of the third quarter and you're only down by 2 scores. And so And that's with, multiple turnovers and being on the short side of the field right here as well, or starting the series on the short side of the field. It's a commendable job by that defense.
Now, what we like to do here on the Blackshirt Breakdown, show some good stuff, but also show some bad stuff and show some things that obviously they need to work on. So right now, we're going to show a sack here of Jeff Sims by number 44, which is the defensive end on the field side, the long side here. So let's just take a look at, Colorado sends a blitz with that overhang defender toward the field, and then it's just a one-on-one with number 44 and Ethan Piper, our left guard.
Right, yeah, and when you look at this right here, I think one of the things that hurts Ethan Piper, he's generally laid out of his stance, right? See how ladies there, right? Feet are dead. See how his feet get. You see how he got essentially over his skis.
Yeah.
Watch it how far his arms out right there. See there? Once you got your feet, once you get your arms out there, you're easy to swipe. It's almost like you're a practice dummy here, right? So he gets a decent set here, right? You need to be patient and hold your punch, get in close. There's no reason to give away your move right there. And he goes right around him and sacks him. And I think the next play, that's when maybe Jeff Sims had the drop from Bullock, right? And you see Borkacher wide open. So I guess in theory, you like Sims to get it out there quickly, but when you get beat that clean and they're in your face, now watch this right here. Watch Borkacher's wide open, right?
Yeah.
He's wide open, but he can't even get it to him. And so, of course, the quarterback's having issues, but, you can't – I call these easy access or direct access plays, right? And that's the thing that's always hurt Nebraska's offensive line is giving up too many direct access plays. That means you're getting beat essentially right away, right here. You're not getting into him. He isn't beating you with a secondary move or a counter move. It's his first move, and he's getting home on it and turning the corner on you, getting a sack on you.
And we're not trying to kill Ethan Piper here, but it's just good to show what Nebraska's offensive line is working with and what they are kind of just doing this season. So this is another one that I kind of wanted to chat about because, I saw it twice in the first half here. So Nebraska comes out in 22 personnel. I mean, they have Justin Evan Jenkins there, and he's playing kind of the tight end towards the boundary of this short field. And then you have Nate Borkacher, the tight end, is kind of that nub tight end or that second tight end out there. And number 44, again, he splits them and gets a TFL on 1st and 10, sets offense back behind off schedule. And now they're in a 2nd and long, and that's absolutely not what you want to do with this offense. So Jay, just talk me through what the issue is here, because we're going to go after this play. It's going to be this same play, I think, and same miscommunication between these two players, Justin Evans Jenkins and Nate Borkacher.
Yeah, this is where I like to say that kids, guys need to figure it out, right? You know what type of defense this is. They're going to shoot gaps, right? So he's already at the advantage right there. So I think he's slanting in there between Borkacher and Jenkins. So you'd like Borkacher to time it up, right? And maybe have a little bit tighter split, right? Tighter split to him. I can't see the split, but he's late. You see how late he is right there?
Yeah, he didn't even get out of his stance.
Right, didn't get out of his stance, right? You notice now it's hard. Now you're on the road, right? So let's err on the side of erring of let's be a little bit tighter because we're on the road with the crowd noise. So then by doing that, you'll be okay. But watch this right here. See how late he is? So then it's a tackle for loss. Now you're essentially pushing him in the back. And so it starts.
So Jay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is Justin Evans Jenkins supposed to give a little bit help on 44 or no? Or is this all Nate Borkacher trying to reach 44?
Depends. I don't know their blocking schemes enough.
Okay.
I've seen it both where he can double up, right? He can double up on 44, right? Until he goes and gets it. See, he probably could have helped, and then he didn't do anything either, right? So really, to be honest with you, if I had to coach, or just from my standpoint as a defender, the Justin Evans Jenkins they first need to handle 44, and you're laid up to 51. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Handle 44, right? Block out, overtake him by Borkacher if you can. You essentially double the team until Borkacher can gain advantage, and then get up to 51. See, I think this is a little bit of an issue here, even as you've seen it a few times, throughout Ethan Piper's career. In particular, one time
I didn't see that until right now.
Right, but where you're trying to go get your guy at the second level, and this is not Ethan Piper right here, but you're going to get your guy at the second level too quick, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing about slip blocks, double team up to, the second level is taking care of the first level, right? That's the line of scrimmage, anybody there. So that's that front four. And then you're late in making the second level, make a play. And so, probably Justin Evans Jenkins could have helped out right there. But, really, to be honest with you, with a fast flowing defense, you actually want to wait on them and then just take them where they want to go. So, like him playing in space against 51 isn't a good matchup. And so that's just inexperience of him playing tight end and inexperience of him and Borkature working together. And it's something that, just little details, because Borkature is at a disadvantage right now.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to wash him down, right? And now, first, I'd probably say just to go back and start from the beginning. Borkature probably needs a tighter split, right? You know where the play's going. You'd like to get a little bit of a shoulder pop from Justin Evans Jenkins to slow down 44, and then he still has a good angle on the 51, and actually 51 will have to run to him, right? So too much space, he's able to dip around him, and obviously Ethan Piper fell down right there. So
yeah,
do we
think he tripped on Ben Scott's legs here? Just one of them? He had to have.
Yeah, I mean, you just need to be a better athlete than that. It don't really matter. I mean, Ben Scott's got to snap the ball. He's got to be a little bit deeper in his pull, and stay, stay on the, keep your feet, dude. I mean, Ben Scott has to snap the ball and then block back on a defensive tackle. He's got a hard job, and that's what, that's first of all, the play's going away from Ben Scott, so you should be pulling deeper and not really deep, but a little bit deeper.
And this is the last play that we will do, I believe, and it's again Borkature and Evans Jenkins, and again it's the same 44 from Colorado, that defensive end. He splits the two, and again, like you said, Jay, probably a shoulder pop from Evans Jenkins will help Bork out a lot here, but again, maybe it's just tighten up the splits.
Yeah, tighten up the splits, and and Justin Evans Jenkins needs to play like he's an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
Right. So pop him, and then you're late, right? He's trying to go up to the second level, I think, backside linebacker. Like that's there's no rush. Look at that. There's no rush. They already got a double team on number 9. And look, you got a lot of white jerseys not getting any push right here. You're playing way too high because Ethan Piper missed this guy, and same with Corcoran, right? But let's just go all the way back to the very beginning, right? Justin Evan Jenkins is going to go to second level, or he's going to get up to 43 Woods right there. See there? He needs to come back right there. And then almost he would take 44, and then Borkature would have to try to seal out or kick out 43. So it's just a misassignment a little bit. I understand why they have Justin Evans Jenkins in there, right? Because he paid dividends against Minnesota. But with a quick front like this, you have to be anticipating them shooting the gaps. They're not going to 2-gap, right? Colorado wants to get on the edge and run. And that's what their defense is meant to do. And they're coming downhill because they're selling out against the run right here. So you gotta forecast that and anticipate that, right? At 0-0, you've been beating them up physically for, at that time, almost a quarter and a half. And you got to anticipate them selling out the run. So it's tighter splits and better communication as well. You get what I'm saying? So, in the first quarter, you got burnt by it. Second quarter, you should already have talked about that on the sideline and say, hey, if it's me and you, hey, Steve, I got to be a little bit tighter, but I need a bump from you. Because Borkature's in a negative position in the first place. He's trying to block a guy and overtake a guy that's going away from him. So essentially it's a scoop block. So a scoop block is the inside guy is going to block him into the outside guy, which would be Borkature, right? Can overtake him or at least get head up with him. Well, if you're just going off to the second level, you're just giving that guy free access to run in there and hit the quarterback or the running back in the backfield. And so those are two examples of the play call was good. The execution wasn't very good. And that's actually at the point of attack, right? Direct access plays is what's hurting our team. Pass protection, run blocking is affecting it. Now, quarterback play that's a whole different animal, but it all goes together, right? You're in a better down and distance and play calling situation if you're not giving up direct access penetration. And they showed they could do it. Now, also, you got to give Colorado credit, right? They had seen some things and knew they had an inexperienced tight end. They knew he's coming in there, so you got to beat him by quickness. Colorado's not going to tell 44 to line up head up with Justin Evan Jenkins and get into a wrestling match. He wants to get him on the edge and do some stuff. So they made adjustments. Give them, hats off to them, but it could be solved by better communication and then obviously a little bit better teamwork.
Coming into Lincoln this weekend, Northern Illinois, Matt Rule's home opener, the program's home opener. I have to think that a defense like Northern Illinois out of the MAC is going to have some smaller, quicker guys. Do you think they're going to be watching this tape and be like, hey, we can get in the backfield with these guys if we shoot gaps and not try to man up with these guys, but just kind of shoot gaps?
Right. I mean, sure. I mean, and especially if our quarterback compromised or you have a quarterback that hadn't played. So I think it's definitely something that has to be on the docket. And with the look, Nebraska's going to do self-scouting, right? And they're going to see what their weaknesses are, and then they're going to try to address them. And it's a copycat league. They're going to see what Colorado did well, what they didn't do well, what Nebraska did well, and what they didn't do well, and try to obviously take some of the things and see if you fixed it. So if you come out there in that same formation, expect it, right? And then if you fix it, then you can continue to go back to it. And then obviously Northern Illinois knows that you paid attention to some of your negative plays. And Matt Rule said today that Northern Illinois' defensive line is the best defense line they're going to play up to date. So that's including Minnesota, who I felt like was pretty strong up the middle and decent on the edges. So the offensive line and the offense has their work cut out for them. But you see some good glimpses from the offensive line, regardless of some of the plays we've seen. You just need some consistency, right? You got to continue to get the push and the pad level and the movement, for 4 quarters. And, if they can get that, longer and stronger, I think the points will start to come.
And it's an interesting Northern Illinois team, head coached by Thomas Hammock, a former Northern Illinois player, doing good things over there. Couple weekends ago, they went to Boston College and knocked off Boston College in overtime, 27-24, but then had a weird loss to Southern Illinois at home, an in-state rival. So kind of an uneven start for Northern Illinois, but they're going to be coming in Lincoln. They're going to look at that 2017 win that they had here and be like, hey, let's do it again. They're going to come in jacked up and ready to go, right?
Yeah, I think they're going to come in hyper-focused. They had 3 turnovers last game, put up some decent offensive numbers, and obviously the defense played well, right? So they beat a Power 5 team before on the road. So, after a loss like that, which they probably feel like they let themselves down to an in-state rival, but I think they were at home. I'm sure the coaches are going to be harping on them to obviously, come in more focused and with the right attitude. And they feel like they have nothing to lose, right? They see blood in the water. They see Nebraska's lost 2 games. They view it as a winnable game. We've been struggling to kind of get out our own way. And so they're gonna come in and play loose. And so, really Nebraska's biggest opponent, first opponent is themselves, right? Clean up what we can clean up, get better at what we can get better at, and nullify some of the, the gut punching plays that we have. And I'm talking about the basics, catching the snap, clean handoff, and cut down the penalties, right? And then after that, I think Nebraska feels like they have a good chance because you feel like the defense is going to be able to travel, definitely at home, match up well with them in their offense. And so then therefore with our offense, and also another thing is our special teams. Our special teams, we haven't kicked the ball well, right? Field goal kicker or punter. So we need to we got Bushini and Alvano, the freshman. Look, man, you guys are starters and you guys are, thought of to be, a good tandem. So we need you this weekend. We need you to have big punts. We need you to make field goals. The offense needs to put you in better position, but then, it's kind of, complementary football. So, it's just, everybody has a room for improvement. The season's not over right now. They're 0-2. I think really, to be honest with you, they probably gave away that first game and beat themselves. I think Colorado just outplayed them yesterday or Saturday. And so they should be, they're 1 game behind where they should be. But, I think people probably going into the Minnesota game probably didn't expect them to win. But what they did is expect them to win the game considering how they played and how Minnesota played. Then when you go to Colorado, it's the same thing. We just lost our 6 minutes. And so they're probably about, let's say, a game or half a game behind. But there's no time like the present to get back right against Northern Illinois, and get better and kind of get it going, get some belief, and then then see where the chips fall after that. So, they've improved in some things, but they need to improve on the catastrophic negative plays that are self-induced.
Absolutely. And that Northern Illinois team, quarterback by Rocky Lombardi, who threw 3 interceptions, the 3 turnovers, like you mentioned,
Right.
Jay. 7th-year player, Rocky Lombardi. He was
He
a
came
quarterback.
in with
Yeah, he was a
Adrian's
quarterback
first
for
year in the
Michigan
snow
State
game,
in
the
2018.
9-6 game, right? Yeah, I think
9-6, and it was really,
yeah.
really cold that day.
Yeah, and he
Jay,
has he has the one of the best mullets of all time. So
yeah.
hopefully Nebraska can beat him up so bad he's going to cut his hair off, and we get to keep some locks. So they know him. Look, the defense got to go back to work. Offense got to get better. They got to, they found a little something in the run game, and they just need to clean up the easy access plays. And if they get Teddy Prohaska back, that'll do nothing but add more depth and competition there.
Jay, did you back when you played, did you have any 7th-year quarterbacks like Rocky Lombardi is?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
wasn't a
think
thing
so,
back
man.
then,
I
was
think
it?
I had some friends on campus that were on the 7-year plan, but I don't think there was any football players. They kind of they got you in and out back then. So, you
Yep.
know, the
Different
COVID
time.
year, and they were a little bit more lax on the injury years. But look, he knows how to play. He's a former Power 5 quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta expect his best ball game, because he's got pride about it himself. He didn't play good last week. He's gonna try to play his best game, and so the defense got their work cut out for him as well. But if they handle their business, they should be fine.
For sure. All right, Jay, great stuff. As always, I have a lot of fun breaking these things down with you. So for Jay Foreman, I am Steve Marik. Check out all your Husker information stuff at Inside Nebraska. We do a really good job. So for Jay Foreman, I am Steve Marik, and that was a Blackshirt Breakdown Colorado edition. We will catch y'all later.